I think that his ability to work with people, whether it's the students or his staff or parents and families, is probably as good as I can imagine somebody being able to work with other people. He's just very supportive and brings out the best in others, and I admire him for that.
He was a real good student. He was quite a character. He was very bright. He was very outspoken, and I could tell this was a kid who should go to college. So that was right from the beginning. I thought this was a kid who needed to go to college. So as he had lots of obstacles to overcome, he went to college, has 2 master's degrees, and I bet on a good horse.
My full name is Roberto Elizondo. I was born in a small place called Westlaco, Texas, which is about 7 miles from the Gulf of Mexico. We were fairly impoverished, had a family of 9, and I was the 8th of 9, so there were a lot of kiddos at home. And so Mom and Dad were also field workers, and they traveled up to the state of Washington for more agricultural work.
He was an exceptional child, no doubt, and he would bring his friends over to my house and they would do homework, and so he was always at my house, always telling me about what was going on in school, and I was always encouraging him, talking to him about his homework. We just started talking about school all the time, and then he was going to go to college, and then he got married at 18, and then I ended up babysitting so he could go to college. So it just went from one thing to another. We became good friends. Came to 1st grade not knowing a word of English, and here he was very bright, picked up on things other kids didn't, and so from that point on I talked to him about going to college, and he'd bring his friends over to my house and do their homework. He'd ask me questions about his homework, good questions, thoughtful questions, questions I thought showed the kid with a lot of potential. There was a friend of mine that taught down in the basement, actually, from where I was, and he got mad. She did something one time that made him mad, because we were always pulling pranks on the kids, and he let the air out of her tires. He didn't tell me he was going to do that. Oh, she was mad. She was so mad about that. But I think that was probably the worst thing he ever really did. He let the air out of her tires. He and a friend went out and let the air out of all her tires.
I'm going to be a professional athlete or a musician, and I still play music, but not, as my bread and butter. I've been playing since I was 14 years old, so over 30 years. I've been in multiple bands throughout my music career. My main instrument is the piano or keyboard, but I also play brass instruments and the guitar. I've traveled as far as Texas. I recorded a CD with a major label company back in the 90s, and I've been all around the Pacific Northwest.
Yes, I always had high expectations of him. At the end of 5th grade, I thought, whatever happens, this child needs to go to college. He is very bright. He was. And he was from a family where he didn't speak English, came to 1st grade, didn't have kindergarten.
I've learned to be patient. I've learned that it takes a team to make things happen. There was a point in time where I felt like I could do it all, but there's so much anymore that I think it's a team effort that's going to get us, the positive results that we need. I also learned that there are kids that I can influence that other people can't, and that there are other kiddos that I can't influence that other people can. So again, taking that team approach and knowing that the bottom line is how do we provide all the help and the support that kiddos need across the spectrum. And it's really hard for me to see that maybe there's an opportunity that I can't help kids, but that I need to hand off the baton to somebody else to be able to provide them that help and that support. The pros to my job is that I get an opportunity to visit with people and take a look at ways to solve problems, change policy, look at opportunities for us to look at how we can pave the road and establish a strong foundation in the area of education for our students, because you guys are the future of our country. Read, read, read. The other thing that I would also provide you some advice about would be to understand that you can't travel this path alone. Ask questions. Make sure you hang out with kiddos that are a positive influence on you, and that you take a look at your future, and not so much just tomorrow, but take a look at 5, maybe 10 years down the road. When we talk about college and career awareness, I want you to take a look at ways that you might be able to get there, but also know deep in your heart what it is that you want to do. Now, having said that, you go through life, and sometimes they say you change your mind between 5 and 7 times in terms of where you're going to end up or what degree you're going to end up with. But that's the exciting piece. But asking questions, trying things out, getting involved in internships, getting involved in making sure that you have those exposures and those opportunities is really important. Having a plan isn't just good enough. You've got to be able to understand the details of that plan, ask questions, plan appropriately, and make sure that you never stop what you started, and looking ahead that far down the road so that you're able to make a difference, not only for you, but for those that you hang out with, your parents, and for future generations.
I guess I'd say one word. He's extraordinary, and he's a man of integrity.